You ever just look around and get this feeling like we're all in the same sinking boat? I mean, think about it. We've got amazing tech, we're all connected globally, there's more wealth in the world than ever, and yet something just feels off, right? Deeply wrong. So, what's going on? What if all these huge problems we're facing, climate change, all the division, what if they're not actually separate issues? What if they're all just symptoms of one single massive misunderstanding about what a society is supposed to be?
I mean, just look at the headlines on any given day. It's like this constant storm of crises, right? First up, you've got the global threat of terrorism.
Then there's the fact that we're just burning through our planet's resources. We're using stuff up way faster than the Earth can possibly regenerate it. And yeah, of course, the big one, climate change. I mean, that's an existential crisis that's knocking on every single one of our doors. And, bubbling under all of that, there's this constant low-grade fear, this mistrust that feels like it's just pulling us all apart at the seams. So here's the big question we got to ask. Are these all just separate fires we need to run around and put out one by one? Or, and this is what the framework we're diving into today suggests, are they all just smoke rising from one single, much deeper fire burning at the very core of how we've built modern society?
Okay, so let's get into the diagnosis. What is that core conflict? Well, it's pretty simple, really. It's this giant, gaping chasm between the goals we say we want as people and the goals our society is actually set up to chase after.
And this right here really lays out the whole problem perfectly. So on one side, you've got what this framework calls the human goal. This is the good stuff, right? A society built on things like genuine understanding, real prosperity for everyone, a feeling of safety and trust, and living in harmony with nature. But then, look at the other side. This is what's called the gross misunderstanding, basically where we are now. We've checked out right understanding and replaced it with money is everything. We've swapped out prosperity for all with a mad dash for accumulation by just a few. And instead of fearlessness, we've got a system built on domination and, frankly, exploitation. So this fundamental misunderstanding creates a society that's basically running on three major obsessions. First up, you've got this obsession with consumption. The belief that happiness is just one more purchase away. More stuff equals more happiness. Then there's the obsession with profit. It's this relentless drive to get as much as you can for as little as you can give. And finally, there's this obsession with just sensual pleasure, the nonstop chase for those fleeting hits of happiness from food or entertainment or just comfort. The source material argues that these three things, they're the engine driving almost all of our problems. All right, so that's the diagnosis, and it's a little grim, I know. But what's the cure? Well, this is where things get really interesting. We're moving into the vision, and this isn't just about patching up the holes in our sinking boat. No. This is about charting a course to a completely new destination, defining a comprehensive goal for all of humanity that we can actually work towards together. And this whole vision is built on four really solid interconnected pillars. So, pillar number one, making sure every single person has the right understanding and feelings to be genuinely happy. Number two, making sure every family experiences true prosperity. Number three, building a society that's actually based on trust and fearlessness, not competition and fear. And finally, number four, getting to a place of coexistence with nature, where we're mutually thriving. And you see how complete that is? It's not just about one thing. It covers the individual, the family, the whole of society, and the natural world. Now, I want to pause on one word here because it's super important. Prosperity. When we hear that word, we usually think of, piles of money, endless wealth, but in this way of thinking, it means something totally different. Prosperity is defined as the feeling of having more than you need. Think about that. It's not about how much you have, it's about the feeling of security, of having enough. It's about being free from that constant worry about scarcity. Man, that is a completely different goal from just chasing infinite economic growth, isn't it? Okay, that's a beautiful vision, for sure. But a vision without a plan is just a nice sounding dream. So the real question is, how do we actually build that? Well, this framework doesn't just stop at the vision. It gives us a blueprint. It lays out 5 interconnected systems that are specifically designed to build a society that can actually reach these incredible goals. So here they are, the 5 dimensions of this new human order. It all starts with education, but not just any education. It's about instilling deep values and character. An education for wisdom, not just cramming facts. Then you've got a health system that's based on self-regulation and well-being. A production system that's all about harmonious, meaningful work, not exploitation.
A system of justice that protects people and preserves nature. And finally, systems for exchange and storage that are designed for everyone's benefit, not just for maximizing profit. And check this out, because this is where it all clicks together. This table shows exactly how those 5 systems, the how, directly lead to those 4 goals, the why. It's not just random. You can see, for example, that the right kind of education leads directly to right understanding in people. The systems for production and health, they lead to true prosperity for families. It's a completely integrated plan where every single piece has a purpose and connects to the bigger picture.
Let's just zoom in on one of these for a second, just to see how deep this mindset shift goes. Let's take production. Right now, production is all about making more stuff faster and cheaper. But in this model, the goal isn't just the end product. The process itself has to be cyclic and mutually enriching, kind of like how things work in nature where there's no waste. Just think about that for a second. Imagine if our entire economy was built on that single principle. It would completely change everything about how we work and how we relate to the planet.
So, okay, this is a huge society-wide vision. It's a lot. And you might be thinking, great, but where in the world do we even begin? Well, the answer this framework gives is pretty powerful. It brings this massive, grand plan all the way back down to the smallest, most essential starting point, you, the individual.
And here's the crucial part. The order matters. A lot. You can't just jump in and try to fix society or save the environment first. It won't work. The absolute foundation, the number one priority, has to be achieving right understanding within each and every person. Because from that understanding, everything else flows. That's what allows us to create real prosperity. And that prosperity is what makes a society of trust and fearlessness possible. And only then can we truly achieve coexistence with nature. See? It has to build from the inside out.
To put it really simply, you can't build a humane society with inhumane people. It's not possible. The entire structure, this whole beautiful vision, it all rests on the internal transformation of the people within it. Now, the source material has a really interesting way of describing this shift. It calls it moving from animal consciousness to human consciousness. So animal consciousness is basically our survival mode, right? It's a mindset that's laser-focused on one thing, physical stuff. Food, shelter, security. But human consciousness, that's different. It puts right understanding and right relationships as the top priority. Now, physical things are still important, of course. You still need them. But they become secondary to understanding and connection. And that change in priority, that's the absolute key to the whole individual transformation. And look, this personal transformation, it's not something that happens all alone on a mountaintop. It happens within the family. And then that family connects with other families and they all start working together towards that common goal. That is how real change happens. That's how it scales up from a single person to a family to a whole community and eventually a totally new kind of society. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one big question to chew on. Just really think about this. What would our world actually look like? What would your life look like if our main goal, our number one metric for success, wasn't endless growth, but universal harmony? What would change?